It says it was deleted on Facebook.
No, it wasn't.
Welcome to Meet the Author, where you can join in on insightful conversations with best-selling and award-winning indie published authors. Your hosts today are Rob and Joan, who themselves are indie published authors, book publicists, and paranormal investigators with Tampa Bay Spirits, based in Tampa Bay, Florida. Thanks for dropping by. And now, on with the show.
Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Joan. We're so glad that you decided to join us today and to be in the audience. We are having a problem with our Facebook page. It just told us that it is not broadcasting on the Meet the Author Facebook page.
So hopefully you all will find a way to come back on over to one of the other Facebooks. It's only one of the Facebook pages that isn't broadcasting at the moment.
Our own
the
Facebook
main one, the
page.
Meet the Author one. So
that's frustrating, to say the least.
Hopefully everyone will come over to the other two Facebooks or LinkedIn or YouTube.
If Zardoz, if you could message the people that are maybe trying to get in to Meet the Author. I don't know if there's any way you can post on there and say that it's not broadcasting tonight for some unknown reason. That we would appreciate. Anyway, what I did want to say is that whether you're watching us live or if you're listening to a podcast later on, we're so glad you decided to join the audience and watch and listen to the show. And I also wanted to say that we appreciate so much working with so many wonderful authors. We appreciate all of you, and you've all been really wonderful to work with and to have on the show. And any of you readers that are listening, if you're going through maybe some financial problems, like a lot of people are now, a lot of the authors have it on Kindle Unlimited, and you can read their books for free. But if you don't support an author, buy their book, leave a review. All right.
Yes. All right is right.
Go ahead.
Okay. Voice of Indie podcast tonight is on Blog Talk Radio with Beam Weeks and Stephen Gary G's. Tonight's guest is none other than George Dismukes. He's the author of the Three Faces of the Jaguar trilogy. He's an author, director, producer, and he wrote the Siren Song series. So tune in, give George support.
After our show, go over there.
After our show,
harass him.
Stay tuned at the end of our show. There's the first blurb that comes on as soon as we sign off is good details on how to exactly get onto the Voice of Indie podcast on Blog Talk Radio. Very detailed. Episode rewind this Saturday night is Beam Weeks. Author Beam Weeks writes novels, short stories, essays, and he's also an editor, audio, video producer, and he's half of the Voice of Indie podcast host team. And that's at 5:30 this Saturday, right where you're watching right now, plus Meet the Author podcast page, hopefully. So tune in. That's Eastern time here in the United States. Next Wednesday is author C.W. Hawes, novelist and award-winning poet. He wrote he's written the Justinia Wright Private Investigator Mystery Series and also the Pierce Mustin Paranormal Investigation Series. So, and also he writes for the Magnolia Bluff Crime Chronicles.
Actually, he was the person behind the idea to do the Magnolia Bluff Chronicles. So
that's right.
That's who he is. And we'll be happy to talk to him about something other than Magnolia Bluff Chronicles.
Right. So,
yes.
We wanted to also bring in, if you can bring up the
I will.
Thing there. Okay. Siren Hunter is part 3 in the Siren Song series. It'll launch in February. That's right around the corner. Advanced sale price is $12. No payment necessary now. Just get your name on the mailing list. And there's the, it's mayanartintl@yahoo.com to get on the pre-order email list.
Okay.
So this is exciting, isn't it? Different.
Okay. Zardos said, got it. Stand by for a link. Okay.
All righty.
And Paul Hollis says, hello, Joan and Rob. Hi, Paul. We're glad that you're here tonight. Joe Condell said, hi, Rob and Joan. Having an issue getting on Facebook, but I'm here. Maybe. Yeah. Joe, are you on our Facebook page? Because we're having a problem. It says that we're not broadcasting on that, and it won't let us broadcast on there. We've tried. So anyway, maybe switch to another Facebook page, you can also go on LinkedIn or our YouTube. Okay. You can, Joy Shelton York says, hi, Joan and Rob. Hi. Okay. Chrisman says they need to use the link I sent. I'm not seeing the link here in the comments.
No, I don't see one either.
No. Okay. He said, everyone needs to get on the Facebook link Zardogs does posted. Did you post that on here? If you put it in the comments, I can put it up on the screen. The one that Zardogs did. Okay. I got it. Chrisman gave it to us. Here's the link. If you're having trouble.
That's the radio station one. Yeah.
Okay. You can, all right. That's the WLFEDB.
So if you're on Facebook, if you'd rather watch on Facebook, you can watch there. We've already got 6, but I think several of them are on YouTube.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, all this business that we had to take care of.
This has been very exciting so far.
Poor Robin sitting backstage like, what the heck is going on with these people? This is very unusual. Yeah.
I'm trying to fix it here if I can.
Yep. Oh, Joy said she's on the radio station, and Chris Chrisman says, Joy says she's on the radio station, and Chris Chrisman says, but it shows your Facebook name. Yeah, it shows our name because we're broadcasting over the radio station right now. Our show is the one that's on. So that's why.
Well, why don't we go ahead and
Technomancer to the rescue. Yeah, get started. For those of you that didn't hear, I said, I am so grateful to all of our authors. They've all been wonderful, all of our guests and everything. Oh, he said, no, I mean our Facebook names. Okay. All right. Yes. Can we please bring Robin on? Let's do that right now.
Let's bring her in. Well, that was kind of exciting. You never know. Expect the unexpected, right?
I thought you guys didn't want me.
I know. It's like, this has never happened before. Oh, what did I say about the ghosts in the machines? We've had issues recently in our house. And Someone else just told me that they were having issues in their house. So that's interesting. Anyway, Chris Chrisman says, hi, Robin.
Hi, Chris.
Okay, well, let's put that behind us.
Please do. There's nothing we can do about it
There's
anyway.
nothing we can't reel it back now. So
Anyway, let's
okay.
introduce our guest.
We have Joe Allen Ash with us, and you're really Robin Maderich.
Correct.
And you're writing as Joe Allen Ash. And I want to welcome you. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Can you tell he's so flustered? He's like,
I am really flustered. I'm going to go out and come back in.
what am I going to, what is it that I usually?
Oh, boy.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, so what did you want me to tell you? I sort of missed that.
About yourself.
Okay, well, I've been writing for actually many years. I just recently, though, published young adult, something I've always wanted to do, but I write young adult as Joe Allen Ash. I also write as Robin Maderich. I have written hello.
Hello from Florida.
I've written as Celia Ashley. Those are
Celia Ashley, Joe Allen Ash, right?
and Robin Maderich.
Under your own name, Robin Maderich.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I did write one book as Alyssa Deane for Kensington. I think it came out in 2000. And that was because my agent at the time had suggested a change in name, because the first book that came out, which was this one that's totally faded and was, whoops.
Which one is that?
That's Faith and Honor. That was written as Robin Maderich, but because it didn't do as well as she hoped, she suggested a change of name at that time. And I wrote Once and Always as Alyssa Deane, and that actually did really well. Then I started writing other books as Celia Ashley, and then I went back to my own name. And oh, hi, Marie. I know her. She's related.
Hello, Marie. Welcome to the show.
That's my cousin.
Aww.
And so now I'm writing as Joe Allen Ash. I still write as Robin Maderich. I write the Connor Falls Christmas series because I just
and that's a romance series, is that right?
Yes, and it's very light on the romance. It's more. Oh, that's me too.
Okay, but that's not the same
Those are the projects.
No. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more family oriented. It's light on the romance. It does have a romantic element, but it's not like a full blown romance. There it is. Hurry Home for Christmas is the first one in the series.
Okay.
And this one?
That one. Yep, that one just came out this year. And that's there are 3 novellas in
When the Heart Brings You Home.
Okay, Connor Falls Christmas Collection. Okay. Can you read those any time of the year?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like Christmas any time of the year. So, yeah, if you want to just have some holiday feels in July, go right ahead.
There you go.
Oh, Chrisman has a question for you. He's asking you, is using pen names confusing?
Apparently it is for me.
It was for you.
I don't know if he means confusing to readers or to authors, because it's not a problem for me.
Okay.
And it really shouldn't be for readers. I know you had an author on, I think it was last week, who was talking about he writes crime fiction and was going to be, true crime, and was switching over to crime fiction, and he wasn't going to change his name, which actually makes sense because it's sort of the same. He's going from crime to the genre of crime fiction. Whereas if somebody's used to writing sweet romance, then all of a sudden you write like a murder mystery, they're not going to be really happy finding that under your name. So
see, that's what he's worried about, though, is that he won't be able to bring his readers over to fiction.
He's
a New York Times bestseller. I don't think he has too much to worry about.
Right. He was writing true crime and crime fiction, so I don't see why he would have a problem. But if, like, with the writing young adult works now, I wanted a different name because I didn't want somebody seeing, oh, Robin Maderich, and expecting something totally different than what they were going to get behind the cover. I do on my blog, I have all my author names on it, so people know if they come over there,
That's
they can look
good.
at it, and it says what sort of things I write under which name.
Now, Chris Chrisman says, does it change your readers? But you actually just kind of answered that because you feel like it does.
Right. I mean, that's not to say, I keep saying, that's not to say that somebody who read Hurry Home for Christmas wouldn't be interested in reading other things.
Absolutely.
But if they were really unknown to my work and were searching me out, they wouldn't necessarily, if they came across my name, Robin Maderich, on something totally different, like something I wrote as Celia Ashley, they might not be happy about it.
Also,
Nope.
somebody
Hi,
says,
Patty.
Patty says, hi, Robin. She said that a while ago and I just didn't get it up. So Chris Chrisman said, does it change your readers? Then he says, makes it easier to market the different genre then.
Yes.
And then he said, that makes total sense. Thanks.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Oh, I bet we didn't think we were going to be talking about that for that long. Never mind the other thing about having one of our Facebooks down.
Right.
Joe Conjal said, how do you choose the actual pen name? Do you use a pen name generator?
I don't. I based Celia Ashley is actually, Celia is, my middle name is Alice. So I just changed the letters around, and Ashley was my old dog. So and I liked the way it flowed. And for Joe Allen Ash, I wanted something that was important to me, that somehow expressed something special to me. So Joe is my youngest son's middle name, Joseph. Alan is my middle son's middle name, Alan. And Ash is my oldest son's middle name, Asher. And that's how I came up with Joe Allen Ash.
Perfect.
Marjorie Deering said, I was here in time, honest, but couldn't tune in on my usual site. Glad to be here, though. Yes, we were saying, Marjorie, for some reason, our main Facebook page
dropped out on us. So that's the first time that's happened in 2 years. So,
and Chris Chrisman says, hello to Joe. But yeah, it's the first time that's ever happened. But so now we're talking about pen names. And actually, Robin, this is Robin Maderich, and she has used different pen names depending on which genre she's writing in, and explained why. Oh, Marjorie Deering says, being a mystery writer, I worked it out all by yourself. And Joe Conjal says, Chris Chrisman, hi.
I doubt if George made the switch.
I'm thinking George probably didn't,
because he's going to be on the show later
make the switch, but you can catch up with him. He's texting or calling. Texting right now. But he'll be on tonight and the show after ours.
Please send that.
Yes, George wants to come in, but he hasn't been able to get in. He just called us. Zardoz said, I'm so glad I was here to help out. Wow, that was hairy. It was so hairy. It was just really, really bizarre. I wanted to go back to your brands, though, and maybe can we talk about, let's see, which one? The shadows. We have that, right?
The shadows we make. The
shadows we make. Yes. Okay. This is the first one in the series, right?
Correct.
Okay. And when did that come out?
July of 2022.
Okay.
And actually, this is a book that I discussed back when I had an agent many years ago. I was at her house. We were sitting by the water. It was very nice. And I talked about this book, and I ended up writing it as an adult romance in 2005, maybe. I was never really happy with it, but it was at the request of an editor. So the rights reverted to me, and I redid the whole thing. It's like the same worlds almost, and some of the same timeline, two of the same names, but otherwise it's just totally different. It's a totally different book. It's I like it a lot better. I mean, I love the characters. They're all 16, 17 years old. One of them is 15. And then the one sister who comes up in this book later on, she's 12.
And so this is a young adult novel. And I do want to say that Paul Hollis says, love this cover. We do too. So for those who are just listening on the podcast, could you please describe this cover? Because it is really, really striking.
Sure. It's the main character, Grace, is a desert warrior. And she has, and I'm going to give away a little something here because that doesn't really come out for a while, but she has green eyes. Thank you. She has green eyes because of her heritage through her mother's side. But it depicts her, and she's holding a staff with a crystal on the end with the shadow, which she actually does not have precisely in the book, but it depicts a huge part of the storyline.
Okay. It makes a point.
Yes, it does. And I mean, a lot of people, I did a few book signings, and a lot of people came up to me just because of the cover.
Now, what would you say the genre is of this whole series?
It's been by different reviewers, and they've referred to it as dystopian. And it's a fantasy sci-fi mix, and definitely dystopian.
And a young adult.
Mm-hmm.
But we can all read young adult novels.
Oh yeah. I read Harry Potter every year. I read all of them right through.
My daughters and myself all read young adult, and none of us are young.
Neither am I.
So it's like, you don't have to be a young adult to really enjoy young adult.
No.
Okay, before we take our break, just let me say, let's bring this up. Now, this has not come out yet. This is called The Thrice-Gifted Child. This is a continuation of that, and we can see that in the cover, actually, can't we?
Yes. And then I designed it purposely in the next cover, too. They'll all be that, so that you can see how they are all connected from beginning to end. And yes, that comes out in ebook on the 23rd and print on the 24th.
Okay, so it comes out soon, people. Yes. Yeah, that's really cool. We have 2 more comments, and then we're going to have to go to commercials. Oh, Lorraine says, sounds very interesting. I read young adult. Yeah, young adult is great. Hunger Games, that's young adult.
Yes. I love Hunger Games too. Yeah.
It's so, and Lorraine also says the core covers are gorgeous. They are there. I love the colors of our whole house is decorated in that color.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Joe Conchel said, do you make your own covers? No.
Yes. I do design my own covers.
That's wonderful.
Thank you. I've been doing that for a long time. I sometimes will just do it. Sorry, my eye is suddenly like doing this weird thing. I will design a cover when I first start writing a book, even if I'm writing for like something that's traditionally published. I'll design the cover for myself just to give me an idea of what the book is going to be. That's just the way I do it.
Wow, I'm really impressed. Chris Chrisman says, "Oh wow, very impressive, very impressive."
Thank you.
For those of us who can't even do stick figures, it's really impressive.
That's for sure.
My grandchildren all say I can't even draw a heart that looks like a heart.
Well, those are photos, but then I don't use Photoshop. I use Paint Shop Pro, and then I also will draw on them to change things in like that. The girl on the shadows we make is actually a full-grown woman, but I made her look young.
Yeah.
Oh, you did a good job.
I'm saying
impressive.
That's impressive and very talented. I'm super impressed.
Thank you.
We're going to cut away for a couple of minutes, do our sponsors' words here, and a word from our sponsor. And it's been one crazy night. Here we go.
Okay.
Welcome to Magnolia Bluff, Texas, a small town in the heart of the Texas Hill Country near Burnett Reservoir. A town where everyone's business is discussed at the local coffee shop. A town where neighbors look out for each other. A town not insulated from murder and mayhem. Which begs these questions. Who is responsible for breaking into quaint Victorian homes? And how are poodles, ghosts, drug cartels, and a Ponzi scheme connected with a serial killer? Caroline McCluskey, the town's librarian, catalogs books using the Dewey Decimal System. When a black and white poodle puppy arrives unannounced, she calls him Dewey. Now, Caroline must catalog events to identify a serial killer in her town. Pick up your copy of the Dewey Decimal Dilemma, now available on Amazon.
They thought the siren was dead. In the novel Siren Song by author George Dismukes, James Harmon shot her twice. Several people saw her dead body sinking slowly into the abyss. But now, in Siren Song 2, evidence suggests that she may still be alive.
She killed that boatload of people. It was her! And she's just getting started!
Angie, that's impossible.
The cold chill up my spine tells me it's not impossible. We've got to start all over again. And this time, do it right.
Siren Song 2. The story continues. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and many other bookseller websites. Get your copy today.
At Indie Booksource, you can shop by genre or by author, and you will be buying direct from the author's main purchase link. We offer hundreds of titles in formats that include ebooks, paperback, hardbound, and audiobook. Support an indie author. Visit indiebooksource.com today.
And we're back.
We're back. We have two more comments. Chris Chrisman says graphics are very time intensive. Yes.
Agreed.
Are. And Marjorie Deering said photo editing can be frustrating, but a lot of fun, especially when it comes together for you.
Yeah, when you get the final product, and you're
Yes.
happy with it, it's worth it.
Yeah, sometimes you may have like 100 drafts. Now, I've never been that bad, but you will have multiple drafts that just, the good thing is when you can do them on the computer is that you can save them, those various drafts, because you may end up going back and working on one that you didn't think was going to work and just needed a few changes.
Right.
You have to be a decision maker.
Yes.
Right, that's for sure.
Because, when you have that many choices, too many choices. All right. Before we go too much further along, I'd really like to be able to tell you where you can find. Well, I don't know whether to say Joelle Allen Ash or it's Robin Maderich, but we're talking about the particular young adult books that she writes under the name of Jo Allen Ash. That's simple. Okay, so the website is joallenash.com, and that's JOALLENASH.com. Now, is that the website where you said that people can find all of your pen names? And
no, that's my blog, which I think you also have. That's robinmaderich.blog. Yes.
Here we go. And here's the blog, robinmaderich.blog, and that's ROBINMADERICH. Okay, so you can go on there, find all of her pen names, and she writes under her own name and her various pen names. Find all that information out. You can also find her on Facebook under Jo Allen Ash, and on Instagram under Robin_Maderich_writes.
And before we do the giveaway, maybe you should like to read. What do you think?
Oh, did you want to read from your book?
Sure. I have my Kindle, and I did bring it because I thought I will try and do this.
Okay.
With a big slug of water, and not mess it up too badly.
Oh, we have some comments before you do that. IHR Studios, H is for Home, is a children illustrated book that is phenomenal.
Oh,
Aw.
yes, that's you. I can actually bring it up,
Yeah, I think
and
I might have that in the branding too.
yeah, I think you do. But yeah,
Yeah.
Here it is.
fully illustrated. All right.
Okay, but also Chris Chrisman says, as an artist, it is very satisfying to get a great finish.
I agree.
And then IHR Studios says, talk about how you put that together too. Maybe off topic, but you are such a diverse author. Agreed.
Okay. Do you want me to?
Ball's in your court.
Whatever you want to do. You can read from your book, or you can talk about.
I can very quickly explain how I did this. I had a really nasty car accident in 2019, and I couldn't work for quite a while, and then I could only spend a certain amount of time on the computer because I had balance issues and headaches, but I found that I could spend the time drawing, that I was okay drawing. So I worked 45 minutes a day to do that because I needed to do something because I couldn't write at all. My thoughts wouldn't follow together. I would go back and look at something, which was a problem at work too. I'd go back and look at something and words would be missing, sentences wouldn't make sense. So I was so upset and frustrated that I thought I could never do anything creative again. And I decided to do that, and it worked. I was able to get that finished, and that's actually self-published also.
But now you're back.
Now I'm back.
That's
Yes.
good. That's really good. And it didn't take that long, really.
Right. Yeah.
This is
I just stopped walking with a cane earlier this year. So yeah, like 3 years. So it wasn't, because some people go on for years and years and years. And
especially when it involves the brain,
yes.
that can go on for Chris Chrisman. And he talked about this when he was on the show. He said, oh, wow, that sounds so much like me. 45 minutes at a time. You do what you have to do to create, because he went through an accident also.
And he's okay now?
He's doing very well.
Good. That's good.
Yes, it is good.
He would argue that point, but
No.
Okay. I think I'm going to read. It's probably only a few paragraphs, if that's
Perfect.
okay. Did I do that?
That's
okay.
awesome. Yeah.
Okay. The Shadows We Make, Chapter 1, Grace. A stench swirled on the winds as flames devoured ancient timber and more, so much more. I didn't want to think about the more, but I drew a deep, desperate breath, coughed, spat on the ground, imagining the more despite my best intentions. For 51 days, Citadel had been burning, filling the air with the smell from those faraway fires. Sitting with my back to the wall, knees drawn up to my chest, I studied the flames coloring the distant horizon like a rising sun. Ash traveled on the wind across the miles. Delicate, paler than sand, it settled on my arms, caught in my hair, dusted trousers and tunic. When I rose, my muscles had cramped. I stretched and listened. Voices drifted from neighboring dwellings as people came out to converge on the nearby common, assessing events, speculating about the emissaries who had ventured into Citadel, my parents included. They had not yet returned. As only a few days had passed, no one worried over much, at least not out loud. I heard others speaking too, strangers whose desert vernacular differed slightly from ours. I had no trouble understanding them. I had always been fluent in the various dialects, as well as the languages used within the city and elsewhere. It was my gift to be so empowered. I supposed word of it had conferred on me the value which had caught Stone Turan's interest, my particular ability, and my warrior status. I turned and spat on the ground again, this time in disgust. That's all I'm going to read. Is that okay?
Oh,
That was
perfect.
great.
Sounds very, very interesting.
Bill Conjal has a question, actually. He says, since you've done both, what do you prefer, self or traditional publishing?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to say it's a lot more work. Self-publishing is a lot a lot that you have to do on your own, but you do have more control. You also can set your own schedule. Whereas, like in 2015, I did a 3-book series for Kensington, and I outlined, wrote, edited, rewrote 3 novels in 6 months.
Oh,
I don't want to do that again. But
No.
they want to get them out there. And I actually spoke to the agent I was talking to you about. I spoke to her not that long ago, and she said that she was glad I was going the self-published route, because the publishing world, as far as traditional publishing, has changed so much. It's so hard to get anything. She retired because of the fact that she couldn't even get anybody to a publisher as an agent. It had become so difficult.
yeah, it has. First, Lorraine said, wow, that's amazing. It is amazing. That's a lot. That's a lot of work to be under the gun to get.
I was working full time at the time as well.
Oh,
I don't know. It was just, I don't want to do that anymore.
you would like to have a life besides being tied
Yes.
to the computer.
Yes.
So the time restraints are the major drawback then to the tradition.
Yes, because now,
Imposed on you, yeah.
right. And nowadays, I know that a friend of mine, she came to one of our writers' meetings, and she said, I have to stop writing. I can't do this. The pressure is too much. She said, it takes me a while to write a book. That's just the way I am. And I'm losing my enjoyment. And it's just because they want your name. And I understand. I mean, publishers have to make money. And they also figure if your name is out there repeatedly and quickly, then you build your readership. But you can't really... I mean, some people are fine with it, but I think a lot of people can't get a quality product done under that kind of pressure and in that amount of time.
But see, that's just what they think. And I think it's just because they want to make, I'm sorry, but they want to make money quickly. Because if you are reading the Harry Potter books, you don't mind how long it takes her to write one novel.
Right.
Or the Hunger Games. He takes 7 years to do each book. So, I mean, when you finish one of his books, maybe you should come into reading his books late. Then you can read them all together. But otherwise, you're going to wait a long time. Chris Crispin says, is there a reason for that traditional changing like that? Do you know? Jeffrey talked about that last week, too, Chris, that he said it's changed a lot.
Jeffrey won't be on until...
Oh, yeah. He hasn't been
The
on yet.
25th,
That's right. The 25th. Never mind. That was a pre-record. You will hear about it. Yes.
Yes. And actually, I don't know, since he did ask that. I don't know, except I don't know if they're under pressure. I'm sure they are. I mean, the dollar, it's the almighty dollar, but I know, like, even Amazon started its own publishing house, I believe, and they're the same thing. They want as many books as you can get out in a year. And it just, I know I read something by an author I love recently, and when I was done with it, I said, that's not, and I noticed that she had 3 other books like right in a row, like it just come out, and I thought, that's not what I have come to expect from her.
Right. Yes, and actually, it was Ron Francel talked about it.
That's true.
And the one that you were talking about, the the author that is a true crime author, and he's a New York Times bestseller, has been, published by the big publishing houses, right. And now he went to a smaller indie publishing company to write what he wanted to write. Right. So that he could write he wanted to write a mystery book. And they're like, no, you're true crime sells, and that's selling. And so, and that's, you have to deal with that with traditional publishing too. The small indie publishers, I think, will work with you, but, Random House and those people, Random House, Penguin, and those people are going to say, this is what we want, All right. Chris Chrisman goes deja vu in reverse, because I said, oh, you heard that already. And Chris said, plus readers want to binge read a series these days, binge read them. And
You do.
binge watch
And
TV.
binge
So
watch. We
Right.
have to binging our podcast.
yes, yeah,
Right.
they
Believe it
do.
or
They
not.
binge them.
It's like crazy. So
It is
it's
crazy.
cool. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have a
Okay,
problem with it.
Marjorie Deering, do you prefer writing in first person, Robin? What you read sounded so natural to me. Someone most comfortable with third person narration, so pleasant to listen to.
Well, Marjorie, thank you. And yes, I don't always write in first person, but it is my preference. I do. I find that I can get into the characters more that way, and they speak to me back more that way than. But I do write in third person. In fact, the Connor Falls Christmas series, most of that is in third. There is one of the novellas is in first person, but I do enjoy writing in first person more than anything else.
We need to take a break, but I did want to get two more. Well, actually, Joe, I'll save your comment for when we come back. But I did want to put in what Joy Shelton York had to say because it makes sense now and it won't that much later. She says cost can be a factor in self-publishing if you need a professional cover designer and copy editor. So
that's for sure.
Yes, it can be extremely expensive, but if you're going to go the self-publishing route, you want the best product you can put out. So you might have to wait until you have money or find somebody who becomes your best friend who knows how to do it or whatever, because you don't want to put something out that's substandard.
we've talked to young authors that were talking about how to do it, and we said write an ebook. If it sells, then you can use that money to pour it back into your
Right.
But that even an ebook has to be edited well, and you need a cover.
Yes.
And you need a cover too. You want something to catch your eye. So
Right. So hold that thought.
Hold those comments. We'll
When we
bring
come
those
back,
comments back.
as soon as we get back, we're going to do the book giveaway. So don't leave anybody. And here's a word from our sponsors.
Madison Jackson loved being a cop. A young girl is raped and murdered near Burnett Reservoir. Madison vows to get justice for the child. Madison travels to the heart of Mexican cartel country. She is kidnapped, tortured. Will Madison ever make it home? Justice by Kelly Marshall, only at Amazon.com.
Many secrets are hidden within the darkness of the jungle. Behold, this one about a man, a woman, a black jaguar, and an ancient Maya legend. Two Faces of the Jaguar is a novel by George Dismukes that will take you deep into the jungle and capture your imagination until the last word. Two Faces of the Jaguar is book one of a trilogy. Two Faces of the Jaguar, where only the adventurous dare to read.
Two Faces of the Jaguar, The Lost City, and The Jaguar's Quest are available on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and many other bookseller websites. Two Faces of the Jaguar, the book people are talking about. Get your copy today.
In a world where advancing technology is outpacing crime solving, the O'Rourke team continues their relentless pursuit of justice. Bioprints is the first book in the O'Rourke crime novel series where it's high-tech crime versus old-fashioned detective work. Visit carternovels.com or amazon.com and check out Bioprints today. And
we're back. So two more comments. Lorraine says, I think first person brings it alive. So
I agree.
She probably prefers to read first person. And Chris Chrisman said, must have a great cover, first impression. That's true. That does draw people in.
You had one from Joe that you wanted to go back and revisit?
One from Joe. Oh, yeah.
The most important question.
Okay, Joe Conjal said, the most important question of the night, pantser or plotter?
Pantser usually, but when I did those 3 for Kensington, I had to plot them out. I had to do an outline. There was no way I could have otherwise, but no, I definitely was by the seat of my pants the whole way.
That's what we do too.
Okay, now we've got to get your book giveaway here.
If you want me to do it, I will.
Why don't you bring up the book giveaway? I'm in the wrong page here.
You're on the wrong place.
I should have stayed home tonight. Oh, wait a minute. I'm home. Oh.
All righty. Okay. First, let me give you Joe Allen Ash's email. We know this is Robin Maderich, but this is the email. It's Joe Allen Ash at robinmaderichpublishing.com. That's the email, okay? And the book giveaway.
Dare I do?
Go ahead. Read
Book
it.
giveaway is the first 3 people to email Joe Allen Ash at robinmaderichpublishing.com will win an ebook copy of The Shadows We Make. That's the one she read from.
Yes.
Yes,
So
indeed.
I think you should all get typing really quick so you'll be the first 3.
There you go. And if you're listening to this or watching this in the days to come, go ahead and shoot her an email, and there may be extra copies available. You never know.
We have a comment. She's Joyce New York said, I don't think I could be as creative under that kind of pressure.
No.
So that's actually a very good question, Robin. Did you feel kind of boxed in? It was probably more work to be creative, right?
Yes. And it was a good thing that I plotted them out, because the way I normally write, I never would have been able to finish in that time frame.
Right.
And it did feel sometimes like, yes, my creativity was being stifled. I mean, not that it was, but it felt like it. It felt more at times more of a chore than a joy.
Right. Yeah. And if you're going to be a writer, you want it to be a joy. I mean, nobody likes doing rewrites. And we have to do a lot of them. That's work. But still, the creative process is a real joy. And it's really fun to see where the characters are going and how it's going to end up and how it, even if you have like a beginning and a middle and an end in your mind of where you want to go, where you're heading that ship, to find out where you actually end up is always a lot of fun.
Right. And with the outline, I had to stick with what I had said as far as where the story was going. Mm-hmm. Whereas if without that, the characters will occasionally take you, and they always do actually, where they need to go.
Isn't that right?
Yes. They will always take you where they need to go. They become real in your head, so real, like they are a person standing there and saying, yep, don't take me over there. That's not where I want to go.
That's right. That's right. And if you're not an author, maybe you wouldn't understand that or think that sounds strange.
Right.
But I think that when we first started writing, that's what surprised us the most, was that those characters have a place that they want to go and they're going to get there. And they are so real. I mean, all of our characters are very real to me. They're real people in my head.
Obviously. In the Shadow Journey series, these young people are just, with each story, they become stronger and stronger. It's almost like I don't want to get to the end because I will miss them. It's just, they've become, they're strong characters. They're all strong characters in the Shadows We Make, but they become stronger and they change with each of the books in the series. And I'll miss them. I'll have to do little fellas or something, fit them in every so often.
Your readers will miss them too. I think that,
Yeah, I know my one cousin, Patty, she I give her the advance, little. I'll say, here's the first 30,000 pages. 30,000 words if you want to read it. And
you can be like a beta reader.
Yes, and she just it makes her happy. She says it makes her happy. She loves the stories, and I think she'll be she'll be crying on my doorstep. She's like, no, you can't stop.
I know after we wrote our third mystery, one of the fellows that works with him said, I can't wait for the fourth. Too bad he's still waiting.
Well, the third one comes out in July, and the fourth one will be out in January.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. So it's like close enough where even if you're a binge reader for series, you can read some other things in between, and it won't be that long. You're not waiting like a year and a half or 2 years for it. So.
Right. Joy Shot New York says characters can become like family. They are like family.
Yeah.
They're your children. You've created them, even if they're older than you in the book. And Chris Chrisman said he still has a free book available from his show. So
he was on a few weeks ago.
If you're listening, go ahead and go back to that podcast, and you can still go
or
ahead and
email us carternovels@aol.com, and we'll get you in touch with Chris.
Yeah, Joe Conjo goes, and this is the truth. Joe Conjo said, Joan, your characters are so real. You scared yourself from ever going to a storage facility.
I'll tell you.
That's the truth. We had written a passage that involved the mob and something that they did in a storage facility. And we had 2 storage units because we had an apartment in Miami and our house here. And I was terrified every time I had to go.
Because we know what happens in storage facilities.
It's like, this is so stupid.
Of course,
I have nothing to do with the mob.
It was Miami.
Yeah. There was that. And there was also that the storage facility that we're using had a boa constrictor about 14 feet escape and come down when somebody opened up their storage, because ours was inside and air conditioned, when they lifted up, this 14-foot boa constrictor came out. It was the same company as ours.
Yeah. Didn't happen to us, thank goodness. Yeah. And the mob thing didn't happen to us either.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. We wouldn't be sitting here.
That would be a big spoiler if we gave away what happened, but it was like yucky.
Yeah, stuff gets real, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I don't think any of our characters wanted to do that.
Right.
Our characters that lived on didn't have to do that or be involved. Well, they were involved in that, but you know what I mean.
So, Robin, what do you have coming up in the future? Anything on the drawing board?
You told us.
Yes. I also have the next book in the Connor Falls Christmas series will be coming out during the holidays. And I also want to, and I have plans for it, but I'm not stressing myself out by trying to fit it in right now, but I want to illustrate another children's book.
Oh, cool.
And
wonderful.
Oops, you're a little broken up there. Is that me?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're fine.
You're fine.
Okay. And I also, once I finish this series, I do have 2 others in mind. So, but
a different series?
Yes. Okay. And I don't know if I'll start them while I'm still working on this or wait till it's all done. But they've been fleshed out as far as not outlines, because I don't do that, but chapters that I've started writing. And yes, I know where they're going.
We don't do outlines.
No.
Outlines.
Chris Chrisman wants to know, how many books have you published?
Okay, I've had 9 traditionally published, and then I have self-published
5. Let me check.
6, like the one coming out will be 7.
That makes
Cool.
15.
Yes, thank you.
Wow. See how quick that was?
Not for me. I was like, let me see.
I have so many I can't even count them.
Chris Chrisman said a lot. You've done a lot. Yes. Oh my goodness. This has been so much fun. I can't believe we're at the end of the show. Joe Conchel has a question. He says, so you will continue as self-published going forward, or will you revisit traditional publishing in the future?
I might revisit traditional publishing for the illustrated children's book, but I'll probably continue self-publishing everything else.
Actually, there was one other comment I wanted to get to back there. If you could go back there.
I can.
Chris Chrisman said a good balance for comparison as for sales. Oh, that's a good question. Actually, it's not a question, but I'm making it into a question. Which did you sell better traditionally or self-published, or was there no difference? One supposes you're still selling books, so I'm
right. And some self-published sold better than traditionally published. But can I break out a book right here?
Yeah.
This one actually sold the most of anything that I ever. This was put out by Kensington. This was the one where I said, but that my agent said to go with a different name.
Right.
And it sold okay here, but then they sold the rights to various countries in Europe.
Yeah.
And the contract for those sales is so much better in terms of what you get paid. So I made the most money on that one book. So if you take that out of the picture, then it's pretty even for how much money I made traditionally. Actually, I think a little more self-published.
Okay.
When I think about it, really. I know. She's like, stop talking. Stop blabbing.
No, nobody's saying stop talking.
No.
I was trying to see if I had that, but I don't.
No, we didn't.
I don't have that. I don't have that cover.
Oh.
Because then, they could have seen it more clearly if I had it.
This has been a technically challenged show.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry.
But it went well, I think.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
because the guest saved the day. That's
Thank
for
God.
sure. Yeah, thank goodness.
I
Somebody's making sense.
really appreciate your point of view. Now I don't mean your POV. I mean your viewpoint on pen names. That you explained your position quite well, I thought, and I understand that. And I'm just really happy that you've talked about so many things that I know so many people will be really interested in. Chris Chrisman said, that was my next question. Another language release, German, for example. Yes, she did more than one language, right?
Yes. And I didn't do this. This was Kensington who did it, Kensington Books. But here's the German one. Speaking of German, beautiful cover. I researched to see who the publisher was, and the publisher was owned by the Catholic Church.
Interesting.
Yes, who knew? But
it was a clean book because it got past the Catholic press.
Well, see, that's what I don't know. Once they were translated into another language, I don't know what changes were made. They bought, the rights to publish it, and if they made changes, because I'm not going to break out the other ones, but the covers, to me, were not indicative of what was going on inside. I think they were designed more to sell a book.
Oh my goodness, that's really funny. So Joe Conchel said, great show. As always, thank you, Robin/Joe Allen. And of
You're
course,
welcome,
Robin Joe. Chris Chrisman said it was a fun, informative show. Very informative, I thought.
So too, yeah.
And Joy Shelton York said, great show. Chris Chrisman said, thanks for the good information to Joy. Oh, wow. So many comments are coming up so fast. Paula says, another informative show, Joan, Robin, thanks. I can't say Joan, Rob, and Robin.
That'd be Rockin' Robin. I don't know.
And we told you our friends had just been over for dinner the other night. That was Robin and Joel. And it's like, I can't
Robble,
do
Joel,
this. Yeah.
Robble, Joan, and Joel. Yeah. Oof. I can't say it either.
And Joe Conjal,
Yeah.
yes. Everyone head to Voice of India as soon as this ends and support George tonight.
Right.
And harass the heck out of him, please.
Nicely.
Nicely. He loves being
Be nice
teased.
to him, but support.
He's a sweet guy.
We're going to bop over there.
And
pretty
Marie
soon,
says,
too.
great show, great host and author. Thank you, Marie. That's
Yes.
really very nice of you to say.
And I agree. I mean, as far as not the author part, but the hosts.
We agree with the author part. Absolutely. I mean, no one has had to wade through so much
Balloon,
craziness
yeah.
to get onto the show as you have. We'll have to have you on again.
Okay. That would be fun because I really
Mhm.
enjoyed
Sure.
this.
We enjoyed it. Oh,
Have
we
a little
enjoyed
more
it
peaceful
so much.
So we're going to move you over to the side now. Thank you so much for joining us. And move you over here and
Thank you.
see you in a few minutes.
Thank you.
And we want to make sure everybody knows to come back here next Wednesday for CW Hawes.
That'll be a good show.
That'll be a good show. Same time, same place. Only we're going to add in Meet the Author podcast page on Facebook, hopefully.
Before we lose everybody, I did want to say we're having a team meeting for our, paranormal investigation team this Monday. And I've talked to a couple of our authors, actually Joyce Shelton York and also Robin Maderich, who have their own personal stories of paranormal things. And I think that we might be broadcasting that on our Facebook page for Tampa Bay Spirits. So I know a bunch of you have asked us to do a show just about the paranormal on this show, which we could, but I think we'll do one on our Facebook from our
Tampa
team
Bay
show,
Spirits.
Tampa Bay Spirits, and they'll tell you their true life experiences. You don't need to be listening to us all the time. Other people have interesting experiences
There you
too.
go. The
One
next thing you're going to see is
Yes.
how to get over to Voice of Indie.
Okay.
After this little comment here, let's see.
Oh, Joe Conjal said that would be awesome. I think it'll be a great show. And if you have a story, let us know, Joe. Anybody that does, let us know. And
That's right.
we may have to do a few shows. So
That's right.
it'll
So,
be fun.
Until next time.
That's all, folks.
Live every Wednesday, your Voice of Indie hosts Beam Weeks and Stephen Gees welcome authors, musicians, publishing industry pros, artists, and assorted creative guests for an exciting interactive hour. Call in during the show or post questions and comments on Twitter for responses in real time. Meet your favorite indie creators, learn inside tips, network, and promote your work. The link for each week's show is pinned on Twitter atop @VoiceOfIndie. And you can receive the link every Wednesday morning in your inbox by subscribing to our newsletter at freshinkgroup.com. Check out Voice of Indie every Wednesday on Blog Talk Radio and catch hundreds of episodes archived everywhere from our websites to our YouTube channel and Spotify.
Thank you for joining us here on Meet the Author. Make sure you stay up to date with our show by clicking like, follow, and share. And you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and more. See you next time on WLFE-DB.com.